So beyond bias, watchmen fall into presumption by putting too much emphasis on natural perceptions. So they're seeing things in the natural, and yes, everything originates in the spirit. Yes, everything originates in the spirit and then it manifests in the natural. So you can stop an attack in the spirit and it won't manifest in the natural, but that doesn't mean that everything that you see in the natural has a corresponding immediate spiritual connection. You can't just draw a straight line to it, and make an assumption about what it means. Like prophesying blowing wind in the natural in a spiritual circumstance. It could be, but it's not always. We had, I went to Nicaragua many years ago. We went 8 years in a row and did missions work there. And it was hotter than 19 hells down there, and the witchcraft was intense. Is anybody here from Nicaragua? No? Well, then you wouldn't know. Take my word for it. It was worthwhile to go. But I remember being the last day in this one meeting, and there's this other lady here. I was very young in the Lord, just emerging in the prophetic. And there was this other lady. She just wanted to be, I don't know, she's probably about my same age. She just wanted to be seen so bad. Just really wanted to have her voice, really just striving to be seen. And the apostle said, who has a word? And I had a word, but I'm not one to push myself. I've never been that way. I won't force my way in. I won't push myself. I won't put myself upon you. The Lord has to really, really, really push me out there because I won't do it. And I've gotten better about that because now I know that what I'm supposed to do. But in the beginning, I didn't want to be presumptuous. So this lady, she's like, "Oh, let me prophesy," and I'm like, "Okay, well, good. I don't have to do it because I didn't really want to. I was too shy." Anyway, she starts praying in tongues. And I'm thinking, okay. All right, I'm waiting to see, really anticipating this really profound word, and all of a sudden the wind blew. And all the trees started rustling. And then she goes, "And the Lord says, just as the wind has blown on this meeting today, the Lord is going to blow across Nicaragua, and there's going to be massive," please. Because that's not what the Lord was saying, and everybody knew it. And the Lord could have been saying that. The Lord can cause you to see something in the natural that does directly connect to what the Lord is wanting to do right now. He can do that. But it's presumption to automatically tie them together in that moment. And so, I was like, please. And he ended up taking the mic from her because it wasn't what the Lord was doing. It was giving the people false hope. And watchmen, if we're presumptuous, we can give people false hope. And until that nation turns to God, we're not going to see mass salvations, right? Because of all the witchcraft, they got to turn away from all that. And it can happen, and I hope it does happen, but it hasn't happened, and that was 18 years ago. So clearly that wasn't a good word. So the Bible speaks over and over again about presumptuous prophets, but you could also apply those same verses to presumptuous watchmen. We see here in Deuteronomy 18:20. "But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name," you could put the teacher in there, you could put anybody, but it's talking about the prophet. Many watchmen are prophet, not all watchmen are prophet. "But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die." Uh-oh. That was the standard in the Old Testament. And if you say in your heart, "How shall we know which word the Lord has spoken?" Basically, if it doesn't come to pass, it wasn't the Lord. That was the standard in those days. So God's not going to strike the watchman dead, but presumption will hinder your eyes, your ears, and your voice. If you get into the habit of presuming, then God's going to sit you on a shelf so you can get that root out of you, whatever it is, why ever you're doing that.